All right, so we're driving deep into YouTube today. You've given me a ton of fascinating stuff about YouTube, everything from like its early days to practical tips on creating amazing videos. This is like a masterclass in YouTube success.
You know, it's funny when you look at YouTube's origin story, it's such a simple story, but it really set the stage for everything that YouTube would become. 3 PayPal employees struggling to share a video. I mean, who knew that their solution would like revolutionize how we as a society consume and create content?
Right. February 2005, simple problem, simple solution. It like really highlights that entrepreneurial spirit, seeing a need and just going for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of going for it, that first ever YouTube video, that little vlog from the San Diego Zoo, it wasn't exactly, a masterpiece.
Not quite Spielberg, no.
No, not quite.
But that's the beauty of it. It was personal, it was real, it really captured that early spirit of YouTube, before all the fancy stuff came in.
Yeah, absolutely. It has gone through some major changes since then.
It has?
I mean, I remember the old YouTube layout, so bare bones.
Oh, yeah.
When did things really start to shift, in terms of design and user experience?
Well, one of your sources pointed to YouTube's evolving layout as a key factor in its growth. And they specifically mentioned this shift to a more interactive design around 2006 as a turning point. It just made discovering content more engaging, more intuitive. And naturally, it drew more and more users in.
And then, boom, 2006, Google. That acquisition, $1.65 billion. That wasn't just about the platform as it was at the time, right? That was about potential.
Exactly. It was about the synergy, right?
Okay.
Google, they brought this massive infrastructure, search dominance, and those algorithms. I mean, let's be honest, Google knows how to organize information, right?
They do.
And that partnership, it really was a game changer. It propelled YouTube to like the forefront of the online video landscape.
And they haven't been afraid to keep evolving, experimenting all the time. I mean, look at it now. It's like this global phenomenon, this go-to platform for pretty much everything.
I know. The sheer diversity of content is incredible. We're not just talking, cat videos anymore.
Although those still exist.
Oh, they're out there. And they're still getting millions of views, I'm sure. But, we're talking professional productions, educational content, music videos, movie trailers. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. And it really highlights that whole idea of like democratized content creation.
Exactly.
Suddenly, everybody with like a camera and internet connection could share their voice, their creativity with the world, which is amazing. But also with that comes the challenge of standing out.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where understanding the mechanics of YouTube, like the strategies for content creation, become absolutely crucial. And actually, one of the sources you shared, the one by name of source author from Users Materials, they really emphasized this point. They were arguing that YouTube success isn't about luck. It's about understanding the platform, your audience, and how to actually connect the two.
You need a game plan.
Yeah.
You need a strategy. You need to understand what your audience is looking for.
Exactly. And that's where SEO comes into play.
SEO. See, that's one of those terms. Search engine optimization. I hear it, but I don't always fully grasp it.
Yeah.
What does that really mean in the context of YouTube?
It's all about making your videos easily discoverable, right? It's like almost speaking YouTube's language.
Oh.
In that language. Keywords.
Keywords. Right. Like the secret code to, tricking the YouTube algorithm.
In a way, yeah.
How do you choose the right keyword?
Well, there are tools for that.
Okay.
The ones mentioned in your materials, vidIQ, there were a couple of others, name of other keyword tools mentioned in listeners' materials. And basically, they help you identify relevant keywords based on, your content, what your niche is, analyze what's trending. They can even track your competitors. It's fascinating.
So you're not just choosing random words. It's actually a very strategic process.
Very strategic. Research is key.
Okay, so you've done your research. You've got your keywords. How do you use them effectively?
Well, one of the most effective ways is to structure your videos around a single keyword or a very, very closely related theme.
Okay.
Remember, YouTube is all about relevance. So, and your source, that study on, I think it was about YouTube SEO, they highlighted that videos that were optimized around a specific theme tend to perform much better in search results.
So you're saying, instead of trying to cram a bunch of different things into one video, it's better to have that one really clear focus.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Not just for the algorithm, but honestly, just for the viewer, too.
Right. And that focus, it needs to be reflected in everything. Not just the content of your video, but your title, your description, your tags, all of that. It works together to tell YouTube and viewers what your video is really about.
So let's break those down a bit, because I know those are all so important. Titles, they're like the first impression, right?
It's huge, yeah.
If you don't have a good title?
It's make or break, yeah. Good title. It's like a good headline, you know.
Yeah.
It needs to grab attention and it needs to do it fast. You're competing with so many other videos.
Right. So how do you make yours stand out? Because I remember one of my sources, I think it was that article from name of source author from Users Materials, they were talking about some like really interesting strategies for writing effective titles.
Yeah, they talked about using numbers to create like a sense of structure or a list, which tends to be very appealing. Like, for example, instead of saying DIY home decor, you say 5 easy DIY home decor hacks to transform your living room.
Oh, I like that. Much better.
Yeah.
Specific, it promises something. Okay, titles, check. Descriptions, are those as important?
They're crucial because that's where you really get to kind of sell your video, you know.
Yeah.
You've got a little bit more space there.
Yeah.
So expand on your title, highlight the key points, and make sure to include your target keyword in there. Naturally, of course.
Naturally. Don't keyword stuff. I've heard that's bad. Okay, so weave it in there organically. Got it. Tags. I'll admit I've always been a little bit unsure about tags. Do people actually use those to find videos?
They do, yeah. Think of them as like additional signposts that are pointing to your content.
Yeah.
Use a mix of broad and specific tags just to make sure that you're accurately representing your video's topic.
Okay, so we've got keywords, titles, descriptions, tags. We're like crushing it.
We're on a roll.
But there's like the whole visual element too, right? Grabbing people's attention visually.
Thumbnails. Oh my gosh, thumbnails are like the mini movie posters for your videos, and they can absolutely make or break your success.
They are so important. One of my sources, I think it was name of source author from Users Materials, they had some really interesting insights on like the psychology behind thumbnails. They were saying close-ups on faces, especially those conveying strong emotion, can really increase those click-through rates.
Yeah, brains are hardwired to respond to faces, to emotion. That image, it can make all the difference.
So important. And then let's say you've got them to click on your video. How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them watching?
Cards.
Oh.
Cards. Remember those little interactive elements that pop up?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. During YouTube videos, those are cards.
I always found those kind of distracting before, but now that I'm thinking like a creator,
Game changer.
total game changer.
Right. You can promote other videos, playlists. You can even link to like your website, your social media channels.
So you're like building bridges within your own content.
Exactly.
I like that. And speaking of building, what about building a brand on YouTube? Because it's not just about individual videos. It's about creating that whole channel identity.
Oh, 100%. Branding is essential. Your channel needs to have a clear identity, a consistent look and feel. You want to create a space that people want to be a part of. You know what I mean?
So what are like the key elements of that strong YouTube channel brand?
Well, you need a personalized URL. Something that's memorable, shareable. Your channel art, that's prime real estate, right? That's the first thing people see when they go to your channel. And then your channel description, your about section, that's where you tell people what your channel is all about, your story.
So it's like a welcome mat and a mission statement, kind of all in one.
Exactly. You want it to be visually appealing, informative. You want it to reflect you.
Okay, so you've built this amazing channel. How do you get people to find it? How do you go from, you know, a handful of views to like this thriving community of subscribers?
Promotion. And not just on YouTube itself. Think outside the platform. Share snippets of your videos on other social media platforms. Embed them on your website.
Get it out there.
Get it out there.
One thing I've noticed is that a lot of the really successful YouTubers, they're posting all the time, very consistently. Is there like a magic number for posting frequency?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like it.
And unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It depends on your niche, your audience, and honestly, your own capacity to create really high-quality content.
Right. Because you don't want to sacrifice quality just to get stuff out there.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where planning and organization come in. I know one of your sources, that interview with name of a source author from Users Materials, they talked about this idea of batch creating content.
Right.
You know, planning out a month's worth of videos, filming them in batches, and then you've got them ready to go.
Smart.
Right.
And with all the like video editing software that's available now, even on your phone, you don't need a fancy studio or anything.
The barriers to entry are so much lower.
Which is exciting and also maybe a little bit intimidating, right?
It is.
Speaking of intimidating, let's talk about the big leagues for a minute. We've been, you know, really diving deep into strategy here, but I'm curious about the channels that are like absolutely crushing it on YouTube, like billions of views. What can we learn from what they're doing?
Well, a lot of them tend to focus on very specific content categories. Like, for example, T-Series, the music label and film production company, they have over 250 billion views.
Wow.
I know, it's insane. Music is a universal language.
Yeah.
And YouTube has become like a primary source for music discovery and consumption.
That's true. Music videos are huge.
Huge. And gaming.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's another big one.
Massive.
Yeah.
And one of your sources, the report on name of report study from users' materials, actually, they highlighted the insane rise of gaming content on YouTube.
It's its own world.
It is. And it's not just watching other people play games. It's about community. It's about interaction, live streaming. Like, gaming has created this whole ecosystem on YouTube with creators and fans and even esports events.
It's massive. And we can't forget about children's content.
Oh, yeah.
That's always been a big one. But it feels like YouTube has taken it to a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely. One of your sources, I think the one, Unnamed a source author from Users Materials, they actually argued that YouTube has become like the new Saturday morning cartoons.
That makes sense.
Right. It's so accessible. It's engaging. There's just this constant stream of content. So music, gaming, children's content, those are like the heavy hitters in the YouTube world.
They're dominating.
But even within those categories, there's so much diversity.
Oh, tons.
Which is what makes it so fascinating.
It does. It's this constantly evolving landscape of like creativity and innovation and, cat videos.
Always the cat videos.
Right.
But I think it's clear that understanding like those broader trends, the content categories that are resonating with these massive global audiences, that's essential for any aspiring YouTuber.
Absolutely. It's about identifying those opportunities, finding your niche, and then, of course, applying all those strategies that we talked about.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's not about just chasing trends. It's about creating something valuable, creating something engaging, something that really connects with people. And that, I think, is the real secret to YouTube success.
It's funny, we keep coming back to this idea of connection.
Yeah.
It really is all about connecting with people, isn't it?
Yeah.
In so many different ways. And not just entertainment, although that's obviously a huge part of it, but your sources also talk about how YouTube has become this incredible resource for education, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, people are learning new skills, they're exploring different cultures, they're even taking like virtual college courses, all on YouTube.
It's amazing.
It really
Like
is.
this giant digital library.
It's way more engaging than a textbook, that's for sure.
Right, exactly. So much more engaging.
And one of the things that your materials really kind of highlighted was like the importance of understanding these shifts in like how people are consuming content.
Yeah.
Right. So for you, as someone who's interested in listeners' niche based on their provided materials, it's about thinking about how your content can kind of cater to this desire for both entertainment and education.
Finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
That intersection where people are like entertained, but they're also learning something at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes creating content feel more, purposeful.
Yeah,
Sure.
a little bit.
It does. And it speaks to the power of YouTube as a platform.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything powerful, it's constantly evolving.
Right.
Remember those popular search terms we talked about, like ASMR and gaming?
Oh, yeah, those are interesting.
Those are huge. I have to admit, before doing this deep dive, I wasn't super familiar with like the whole world of ASMR.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's fascinating.
And that's just it. These trends, these niche interests, they can become mainstream so quickly on YouTube.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is one of your sources, I think it was the specific report study on digital trends from the users' materials, they suggested that these seemingly niche interests, they can actually tell us a lot about the future of content creation and marketing.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So what people are searching for today could give us a clue about what they're going to be looking for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like having a crystal ball almost.
It's wild. So what kind of future are these trends pointing towards?
Well, for one, it seems like authenticity is becoming more and more important.
Yeah.
People are craving that genuine connection, those real experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that your materials touched on quite a bit.
Yeah.
Several of the articles you shared really emphasized like the importance of building a personal brand, letting your personality come through in your content.
Yeah, because I think people can spot a fake from a mile away,
Yeah.
They can tell if you're not being genuine, if you're not being yourself.
Absolutely.
They want to connect with real people.
Real people,
Yeah.
not some kind of manufactured image.
Yeah.
And that's good news for creators like you who are passionate about, sharing their knowledge, connecting with others.
Yeah.
It means that the playing field is becoming more level.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. You don't need $1 million budget or a team of producers to succeed on YouTube.
Right.
You just need to be you, be passionate, create great content.
I like that.
Yeah,
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
we have, yeah.
It's been quite a journey. From YouTube's like humble beginnings to this like global powerhouse that it is today.
Yeah.
We've talked about strategies, branding, the future of online video.
It's a lot.
What's the one big takeaway you hope our listener walks away with today?
I think the biggest takeaway is that YouTube, it's more than just a platform, right?
Yeah.
It's a reflection of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
our culture, our desire to connect, to learn, to be entertained.
Yeah.
And for you, this deep dive, it's provided a roadmap, a set of tools and strategies to navigate this really exciting world.
Love it. It's been so fun exploring this world of YouTube with you today.
It has.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a lot to think about
Definitely.
as you embark on your own YouTube journey. Until next time, happy creating!